This VTuber agency lost most of its members in 2 months, and it was the beginning of the downfall of an agency that once showed promise and what I believe was going to be one of the most promising groups in the VTuber landscape. This is a group called VReverie, a company operating out of Singapore that launched its first generation on March 2022 and was grinding their way to be up there with the big leagues someday. And while they made efforts like a second generation and promotions through advertising, it wasn't enough to mask the fact something suspicious was going on behind the scenes. This is a group I always felt was underrated, so this is a personal story for me to tell. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the rise and fall of VReverie. Hi, I'm your degenerate VTuber Yui Tachibana who wants to be your sunshine. So I'm going to start from the beginning and see how they first made their mark. So on March 2022, VReverie released their first trailer which showed off their first 3 members as part of their first generation, which they dubbed Catalyst. I first got this trailer while watching one of Mori Calliope's streams and I knew immediately this looked promising, so I decided fine, I'll check it out. We'll see if they got something up their sleeve. Nova Ayokami, who is a frost dragon that has that obsession with card games and has a tomboyish personality that proved to be the most popular member in the agency for a time at over 60,000 subscribers, and rightfully so. She is quite the likable bestie that I would hang out with. Loria Prisviel, who was also part of the Catalyst group, is a succubus princess who had the personality of being ditzy but also a loving and caring girl deep down inside, who oftentimes would present colorful commentary in some of her streams, and would also poke fun at herself for her autism and ADHD. This was the girl who I was most tied to, having been there for her since day one and always thought she was the most underrated of the bunch. At over 26,000 subscribers, she gathered a decent cult following that was ride or die for her no matter what, and her inspirational shorts are also pretty nice stuff. You should check them out.
Remember to take care of yourself and prioritize yourself before trying to help the people around you, and always keep in mind that you are more than enough. You have always been enough. You deserve to be loved just as much as anyone else. Don't ever forget that, okay?
OPilia Midnight was the third of the Catalyst group and was a yandere phantom that had this mommy-dommy vibe to her, someone who had the dignity of a refined lady but also wasn't afraid to give fan service to her most loyal followers, and had quite the singing vocal talent too. She is someone who for me took some time to get used to as I was busy focused on Loraya at the time, but she won me over with not only her refined presentation, but also her original song Till Midnight was one super underrated track that deserves recognition. Yes, it seems like everything was only going to go well from here. The 3 girls collectively grinded their way to their respective cult followings that helped back VReverie to release a second generation to the masses the following year. In 2023, their second generation, which was dubbed Odyssey, introduced us 4 major new members to the VReverie family. The first being Cherry Lupina, who was a treasure hunting fox that had quite the cheerful personality and had such great charisma with the other members. She is also arguably the most recognizable of the entire VReverie cast, as she not only has over 90,000 subscribers, but her shorts have gotten to reach in the millions, similar to what we saw with Rin Penrose from Idol EN. Some of you may know her from one of these shorts from time to time. Rana Iana is another member of the group who identifies as a Demon Queen raid boss, and also has a tsundere personality that quite frankly speaks to my tsundere fetish. Hey, don't judge. She also proved to be quite dedicated to her streams and teases back and forth with her community quite sometimes, similar to OPilia but different personality-wise. Erika Bayako is a white tiger warrior who won me over almost immediately when the Odyssey group first debuted, due to her warm and welcoming personality and the overall positive community that she would gather thanks to what she was bringing to the table. And if we thought that was wholesome, right next door was Akiko Shushi, who was one of the most underrated VTubers ever in my opinion. Not only was her voice just absolutely adorable, but every stream and clip I saw of her, it just made me want to snuggle her and protect her with all my heart. This Seer of the Lake just won my heart the first moment I laid my eyes on her. There was also one more member to add to the list, and she debuted separately as Generation 2.5, Salmon Lordette. She was originally an independent VTuber operating under the same name, but signed to VReverie where she received a model makeover. While humor-wise she isn't for everybody, I do think every VTuber will find their audience no matter what, and she did find her own, and she's a cute girl too. Yes, it all seemed to look fine, but then it all came crashing down. Suddenly, we was hit with the graduation announcement for Cherry Lupina and Erika Bayako. At first, we didn't think too much of it. They wanted to go their separate ways and they had other plans for themselves. So we just let them have their big graduation streams and we moved on. But then came another. This time it was for OPilia Midnight, which at this point that makes 3 out of the 8 members in the entire group now out of the picture. So we decided, okay, let's get serious now. What's really going on behind the scenes? And before we knew it, 3 more generations came out of nowhere, one of which wasn't even announced properly, specifically for Akiko Sushi. She didn't even get to tell her fans that she was leaving, at least not before the management released it early, which led to some backlash. People was quick to call them a black company, they were sus, and in worst case scenario, the next Niji Sanji. We were already fresh off the Doki Bird situation and seeing other agencies crumble in front of us, so this is during a time where the VTuber landscape, at least for companies that are not Hololive or Face Connect, that it was looking bleak. 2 months ago, this group was looking bright and colorful. It was all good vibes that we was seeing on our screens, but then Loraya started to take long breaks that lasted a month or 2, and a mass exodus of the members was brewing before our very eyes. As of this moment, with 6 of their members now out of the picture, only 2 remain in VReverie, Nova and Salmon. Which begs the question, why haven't they left too? One theory is this: in the midst of all this, VReverie had announced auditions for a 3rd generation, which had recently closed prior to the mass exodus of their members. It was looking like Nova and Salmon were staying to be somewhat mentors to the new members that were seemingly on their way. Nova had also mentioned that she had met the 3rd generation members, indicating that VReverie is outright replacing their former members. This is a very familiar situation to me, as this is exactly what went down with 50/50. They are a K-pop group that was signed to the label Attract under exclusive license with Warner Records. They are most famously known for their song Cupid. You may have seen some TikToks made to that song. Long story short, 3 of their members were terminated by their label and only 1 member remained in the group. But instead of either placing her in a different group or going solo, they decided to just outright find new members to replace the old girls, which not only seems wrong, but it is what's looking like what we are seeing with VReverie. What exactly the members have against the company isn't exactly clear, but what we do know is that it's clear that the management is far from the best in the business. Before we get to that, we gotta connect the dots and see the hints. Firstly, when OPilia's graduation was over, her mods rebelled and pulled the Doki Bird by revealing her past life account, name of Yumi Kiyoku. On her Twitter account, she made a tweet that mentioned her poor management, making it clear that this poor woman was most likely taken advantage of, and that this company that I used to idolize so much was not the cupcakes and rainbows I hoped it was. This would be repeated again with Loraya Prisviel's graduation, where her mods rebelled too, revealing her new account name of Nianami Rubu and Rumi, which she shares with her sister, who had previously been on her VReverie channel numerous times. So we're getting the independent version of Fuomoko, but with cats. I think it's adorable. Please check them out, they're underrated. Plus her sister finally gets to live out her dream of entertaining people, so that's wholesome to see finally fleshed out. Anyway, if you look at her previous tweets prior to her alt account being revealed by her VReverie mods, clues were already there that her previous persona was becoming a burden, thanks to the allegedly piss poor management that was putting a damper on how these girls operate. So what remains to be seen is what exactly is so bad at VReverie that they have lost 6 of their 8 members, and with Salmon announcing a hiatus of her own, Nova will be the only active member in the company, having to carry it all on her own. Oh, the poor girl. While she got people to collab with, she don't have anyone inside her own company to hang out with, which to me is not just bittersweet, but feels so lonely. Please show her the support while she's still there. All in all, this company has seen quite the downfall. What will become of their 3rd generation remains to be seen, as do the careers of the remaining 2 members, Nova and Salmon. I'm speaking on behalf of the fanbase that this company, whether you were in love with OPilia or Cherry or Erika or whoever you laid your loyalty down to, the fact of the matter is, we didn't get to see all these girls live out their greatest potential, and I'm so sorry that they had to leave so soon. Wherever they are right now, I hope things recover from here and that they get to live out their dreams elsewhere, if not more. If Doki Bird could do it, so could they. What do you think of VReverie? Have you ever heard of them before? Did you watch any of their VTubers? And if so, who is your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. And please make sure to support Yumi and the Nianami sisters. They are the alt accounts of OPilia Midnight and Loraya Prisvio respectively. Show them your love. Thanks for watching this video. Make sure to subscribe to this channel and like this video. Follow me on Twitter. This is your sunshine, Yui Tachibana, signing out.